The weight room at Southeast State University falls silent as Chen walks in. His worn gym bag slung over one shoulder. 40 pairs of eyes track his movement. Some curious, others hostile. The air conditioning hums against August heat while barbells rest mid-rep. He's 15 minutes early for the first team workout, but clearly not early enough to avoid an audience. Head coach Wilson's voluntary preseason training sessions are anything but optional if you want playing time. Travis Moore, starting quarterback and 3-year captain, sets down his dumbbells with deliberate slowness. At 6'4" and built like a Greek statue, he's used to commanding attention. His crew-cut and square jaw complete the all-American image that's already attracted NFL scouts. The smirk that crosses his face doesn't reach his eyes. "Well, look what we got here," Travis announces, voice carrying across the room. "Asian kid trying to play football. What position they recruit you for? Water boy." A ripple of laughter follows. Teammates already falling in line behind their leader. Marcus says nothing, finding an empty bench in the corner. His movements are economical, precise. A fighter's efficiency that goes unrecognized by the football players. They see only what they expect. 5'10", 175. No obvious muscle definition under his baggy sweats. Fresh meat. Asked, "You a question?" New blood. Travis stalks closer, followed by his usual enforcers. Defensive linemen built like brick walls. Don't they teach manners wherever you're from? Marcus meets his stare with empty eyes. Wide receiver. He says quietly, "Coach Rodriguez recruited me from California." This draws more laughs. Travis glances at his posse with theatrical disbelief. Receiver. "Man, Rodriguez must be more desperate than I thought. Hope you got good insurance, little man. Things tend to get rough out there." Marcus turns away, starting his warm-up routine with mechanical precision. The dismissal makes Travis's jaw clench. In 3 years, no one has dared show him their back. What the star quarterback doesn't know, what none of them know, is that Marcus spent the last decade learning to break men twice his size. Football is just his latest cover story. Southeast State's practice field bakes under the late summer sun. The artificial turf radiates heat while players run drills. Their cleats kicking up rubber pellets with each cut and sprint. 3 days into preseason, training and the hierarchy is already clear. Travis Moore's inner circle occupies the prime spots during warm-ups, claims the best equipment, and sets the tone in the locker room. Their status isn't official, but everyone knows. Cross them, and your season becomes hell. Marcus runs his routes with precise timing but deliberately pulls back on his speed. He catches what he needs to catch, drops what's expected of a rookie, and keeps his head down. Coach Rodriguez watches from the sideline, clipboard in hand, occasionally shouting corrections that feel more like a performance than actual coaching. The old man's eyes tell a different story. They follow Marcus with knowing intensity. "Look alive, ladies!" Travis barks, stepping under center for passing drills. "New guy, you're up. Try not to embarrass yourself." Marcus lines up wide right, settling into his stance. The defensive back across from him, Jake Thompson, crowds the line of scrimmage. "Ready to get lit up, boy?" Jake grins, gold tooth catching the sunlight. Yesterday, Jake was part of the group that filled Marcus's locker with garbage. Now he's looking to make a statement on the field. The ball is snapped. Marcus drives forward, letting Jake's hands hit him first, establishing contact, creating witnesses. He runs the slant route exactly as diagrammed, at exactly the speed expected of someone his size. Travis's pass comes in high and hot, more missile than spiral, aimed to leave Marcus exposed to the safety coming across. In another life, Marcus would adjust his body, pluck the ball effortlessly, and slip between defenders like smoke. Instead, he stretches just enough to graze the ball with his fingertips. The pass falls incomplete while Jake and the safety collide where Marcus's body should have been. "What did I tell you?" Travis shouts, throwing his hands up. Can't play with the big boys. Back of the line, waste of space. The next hour follows the same pattern. Every pass thrown Marcus's way is designed to get him hit. Every route sends him into the teeth of the defense. His shoulder pads collect grass stains, and his jersey turns from white to green. But he never gives them the satisfaction of hearing him grunt in pain. In the locker room after practice, Marcus finds his cleats floating in a toilet. Travis and his crew linger by the door, watching, waiting for a reaction. Marcus retrieves his shoes without a word, wrings them out, and places them in a plastic bag. The methodical response draws frustrated mutters. "Think you're tough, huh?" Travis steps into Marcus's path as he heads for the exit. "Too good to talk to your teammates? Got some kind of attitude problem?" Marcus looks up at him with those same empty eyes. For a fraction of a second, something shifts in their depths. A predator stirring behind the mask. Travis catches it and takes an instinctive half-step back before he can stop himself. The moment passes so quickly he convinces himself he imagined. No attitude," Marcus says softly. "Just trying to earn my spot." He shoulders his bag and walks out, leaving Travis to stare after him with growing unease. Something about the new guy's calm feels wrong, like the stillness before a storm. 2 weeks into the season, Marcus's daily routine becomes a gauntlet. His locker gets accidentally dented shut. His practice jersey disappears, forcing him to run drills in a spare twice his size. Anonymous texts flood his phone with warnings to quit. Through it all, he maintains that unnerving calm, which only fuels Travis's escalating obsession. During scrimmage, Jake and the safety coordinate there hits, sandwiching Marcus between them on crossing routes. His body should crumple, but somehow he's always half an inch away from the worst impact, rolling with the collision in ways that leave his attackers more rattled than him. Nobody else seems to notice these subtle adjustments. They only see what they expect to see. Getting real tired of your attitude, Travis corners Marcus in the equipment room after a particularly brutal practice. 3 linemen flank him, boxing Marcus against the metal shelving. "Think you're better than us? Won't even give us the satisfaction of fighting back." Marcus begins his usual silence, but Travis slaps the shelf beside his head, sending helmets clattering to the floor. "Look at me when I'm talking to you." For just a moment, Marcus's gaze shifts, not to Travis, but to the exact distances between himself and each attacker, calculating angles with cold precision. His fingers twitch almost imperceptibly before going still. Coach Rodriguez's voice cuts through the tension from the doorway. "Everything all right in here, gentlemen?" Travis steps back, all smiles. "Just having a team meeting, coach. Building chemistry." Rodriguez's eyes linger on Marcus, something unspoken passing between them. "Chemistry's good, but remember, can't win games from the hospital." He pauses. "Or jail." The warning carries weight beyond typical coach speak. Travis's crew disperses, but their leader's frustration has evolved into something darker. The next morning, Marcus finds his car window smashed in the player parking lot. A note under the windshield wiper reads, "Quit or bleed." During afternoon practice, Travis calls an audible, a deep post route that sends Marcus straight into a linebacker blitz. It's a deliberate setup, designed to put Marcus in the hospital. The ball is snapped, and Marcus begins his run. The linebacker charges forward, 240 pounds of muscle aiming to cut him in half. In the split second before impact, Marcus's muscle memory nearly betrays him. His body instinctively shifts into a counter that would leave the linebacker unconscious before he hit the ground. Marcus catches himself at the last possible instant, forcing his training back down. Instead, he takes the hit clean, letting his body absorb the punishment exactly as a normal receiver would. The impact drives him back 5 yards. For the first time, he allows himself to show pain, staying down for an extra beat. The linebacker helps him up with grudging respect. The kid can take a shot after all. But Coach Rodriguez has seen enough. He blows the whistle and ends practice, early. Later, in his office, Rodriguez closes the door and fixes Marcus with a hard stare. You're holding back. It's not a question. Marcus remains silent. I recruited you because your film showed exceptional body control. Didn't dig too deep into your background. Rodriguez leans forward. But I'm starting to wonder if I should have. Marcus meets his eyes. You recruited a receiver coach. That's what I'm here to be. Travis is out of control. If this escalates... Rodriguez lets the thought hang. It won't. Marcus's voice carries quiet certainty. I can handle it. That's what I'm afraid of. Rodriguez sighs. Just remember, whatever you are, whatever you've done, you're on my team now. Don't do anything that'll make me regret giving you this shot. Marcus nods once and leaves the office. In the hallway, he passes Travis and his crew heading to the weight room. Their shoulders brush. Travis spins, ready to escalate. But something in Marcus's posture makes him hesitate. For the first time, Travis feels like he's poking a bear, not a mouse. The sensation leaves him more determined than ever to break his targets. Composure. The locker room is empty when Marcus returns from his evening workout, save for the cleaning staff mopping the floor. He prefers it this way. Quiet. No audience. No need to maintain his carefully constructed facade. His muscles ache from deliberately taking hits he could have avoided. His ribs tender from impacts he should have deflected. The price of playing normal. The lights suddenly cut out. In the darkness, he hears the locker room door slam shut, followed by multiple sets of footsteps. Marcus doesn't move, doesn't even turn around. He already knows who it is. Time for your initiation, tough guy. Travis's voice echoes off the tile walls. Flashlight beams cut through the darkness, illuminating Marcus from different angles. He counts 6 distinct lights, meaning at least 6 attackers. Every new player goes through it. But you've earned something special. Marcus remains, still as the group circles him. Jake, the 3 linemen from the equipment room confrontation, and 2 defensive backs he doesn't know by name, all of them wearing dark clothes, faces obscured by ski masks. They've planned this carefully. Nothing to say? Travis steps closer, his own mask making his voice sound hollow. No begging? No trying to talk your way out? Marcus finally speaks, his voice carrying an edge they've never heard before. Don't do this. It's not a plea. It's a warning. Something in his tone makes one of the defensive backs take a half step backward. But Travis is too far gone, too invested in breaking his target to recognize the danger. Grab him! The linemen lunge forward. In another life, Marcus would have dropped them before they crossed half the distance. Instead, he allows them to seize his arms, forcing himself to be passive as they drag him toward the showers. His muscles coil with suppressed violence. See, there's this tradition, Travis explains, pulling out a length of rope. New guys get tied up, take a nice cold shower, maybe drink some stuff they'd rather not. But you've been such a pain in my ass. We're going to leave you here all night. Maybe tomorrow you'll finally show some respect. They force Marcus to his knees. As Jake reaches for his wrists, Marcus catches a glimpse of something metallic. In Travis's hand, brass knuckles glinting in the flashlight beam. The sight triggers something deep in his programming, crossing a line between acceptable risk and legitimate threat. What happens next takes less than 3 seconds. Marcus releases the tight control he's maintained for weeks. His arm breaks free with brutal efficiency, the movement so explosive it dislocates one lineman's shoulder. His elbow strikes a precise point on Jake's jaw, sending him crumpling. The remaining lineman receives a palm strike to the throat that drops him gagging to the floor. The defensive backs turn to run, but Marcus is already moving. 2 swift kicks to the backs of their knees, and they go down hard. The entire sequence flows like water, each strike flowing into the next with ruthless precision. Travis swings the brass knuckles in a wild arc. Marcus slips the punch like a ghost, catches the extended arm, and applies precise pressure to Travis's wrist. The weapon clatters to the floor as Travis finds himself locked in a hold that sends white-hot pain shooting through his shoulder. "I warned you," Marcus whispers, his voice carrying the same empty calm it always has. But now that calm feels different, not passive, but predatory. He increases the pressure just enough to make Travis gasp. Around them, the other attackers are scattered on the floor, groaning or unconscious. 6 trained athletes neutralized in seconds. Marcus holds the submission for one more heartbeat before releasing Travis, letting him stumble away. What? What the fuck are you?" Travis backs toward the door, real fear in his voice for the first time. Marcus straightens his shirt with mechanical precision. Just a receiver trying to earn his spot. His eyes lock onto Travis. "Practice is at 7 tomorrow. Don't be late." He walks out, leaving them to process what just happened. In the hallway, he passes a security camera, its red light blinking. He knows the footage will be gone by morning. Coach Rodriguez looks after his players, especially the ones with secrets worth keeping. Whispers follow Marcus through the athletic complex the next morning. Players cluster in small groups. Conversations dying as he passes. Jake's bruised jaw and the lineman's arm in a sling tell a story that spreads like wildfire. The official explanation, a late-night conditioning accident, convinces no one. Travis isn't at morning practice. His absence speaks volumes to the team, many of whom have never seen their captain miss a session. Coach Rodriguez runs drills with extra intensity, his voice cutting through the humid air with military precision. If he notices the way players give Marcus a wide berth during warm-ups, he doesn't mention it. In the training room, Jake flinches when Marcus walks in for his usual pre-practice tape job. The trainer pretends not to notice the tension, but her eyes dart between them as she wraps Marcus's wrists. Jake's usual swagger is gone, replaced by something closer to survival instinct. "Look, man," Jake starts, voice low. "About last night. Doesn't matter." Marcus cuts him off, smooth and final. The same tone he's always used, but now it carries weight that makes Jake's mouth snap shut. By afternoon, the story has evolved. Some say Travis and his crew caught Marcus doing martial arts in the empty gym. Others swear he's some kind of underground fighter using football as a cover. A freshman claims his cousin saw Marcus in a cage match in California. The truth becomes irrelevant. The mystery is enough. During team drills, Marcus runs his routes at full speed for the first time. His cuts are razor sharp, his acceleration explosive. The backup quarterback's passes find him with surgical precision. Not a single defensive back plays press coverage against him. When he catches a slant route, the safety who usually loves contact mysteriously takes a bad angle. In the weight room, Marcus claims a bench for his usual routine. The players who normally crowd that area suddenly remember spots they prefer on the other side of the facility. He loads the bar with his working weight, significantly more than anyone expected him to lift, and begins his sets with machine-like focus. Travis finally appears at the afternoon film session, slipping in just before it starts. His usual front row seat remains empty. Instead, he takes a spot in the back corner, as far from Marcus as possible. Their eyes meet once across the darkened room. Travis looks away first. Between clips, Coach Rodriguez's laser pointer circles the defensive formation. "The power comes in many forms," he says, his words carrying double meaning. True strength isn't about dominance, it's about control. After the session, Travis lingers in the parking lot, surrounded by what's left of his crew. Their normal arrogant laughter is gone, replaced by urgent whispers. Marcus emerges from the building and Travis's hand instinctively touches his wrist, remembering the inexorable pressure that brought him to his knees. A decision crystallizes in Travis's eyes, wounded pride winning out over common sense. He pulls his inner circle closer, gesturing intensely. They shake their heads, but his insistence wins out. The message spreads through select players. Tomorrow night, behind the old stadium, one final chance to restore the natural order. Marcus drives past their huddle without a glance, He doesn't need to hear their plans. Tomorrow will come, and with it, the end of pretense. Some lessons can only be taught through pain. The old stadium looms against the night sky. Its abandoned concrete stands creating shadows within shadows. 3 dozen players form a loose circle in the maintenance yard, phone lights creating an impromptu arena. The air crackles with nervous energy. Everyone knows this is more than a fight. It's a reckoning. Travis paces the inner circle, shirt already off, hands wrapped in boxing tape. His knuckles still ache from the previous night, but the memory of humiliation burns hotter than the pain. He's been in fights before, grew up scrapping in Milltown bars, earned his reputation the hard way. Whatever martial arts bullshit, Marcus knows, it won't help him in a real street fight. The crowd parts as Marcus approaches. He walks through them like a ghost, wearing the same blank expression they've come to fear. No shirt, no tape on his hands, no outward sign of preparation. Just that unnerving calm that now carries an edge of lethal promise. Last chance. Marcus says quietly, his voice carrying across the sudden silence. Walk away. Travis spits on the ground. You got lucky yesterday. Sucker punched my boys in the dark. Let's see how tough you are one-on-one. Fair fight. Marcus's eyes sweep the crowd, noting the positions of Travis's remaining loyalists. Some hold baseball bats. Others have their hands in pockets that might contain weapons. Fair. He repeats, the word carrying a weight of irony only he understands. Come on. Travis charges forward, leading with a haymaker that would knock out most men. Marcus simply isn't there when the punch arrives. He slides past the strike like water flowing around a rock, his movement so subtle it seems like Travis simply missed. The next 30 seconds redefine violence for everyone watching. Travis throws combinations that would demolish ordinary opponents. Hooks, uppercuts, brutal strikes that showcase his raw power. Marcus evades them all with minimal movement, each dodge making Travis's attacks look increasingly amateurish. Stand and fight. Travis roars, frustration bleeding into fear. He lunges with a tackle that would drive a normal person through a wall. Marcus finally moves with his full speed. His counter is beautiful in its efficiency. A simple shift of weight, a hip rotation that redirects Travis's momentum, and suddenly, the bigger man is airborne. He crashes to the ground with devastating force, the impact driving the air from his lungs. Marcus gives him time to stand, time to realize what he's facing. Travis gets up slower this time, the cocky smile completely gone. He's no longer fighting to win. He's fighting because he doesn't know how to back down. The next exchange ends with Travis staggering, blood trickling from his nose. The one after that drops him to one knee, ribs blazing with pain from strikes he never saw land. Each time Marcus lets him recover, giving him chances to yield that his pride won't let him take. One of Travis's lieutenants steps forward with a bat. Marcus's eyes flick to him, just a glance, but filled with such concentrated menace that the player retreats immediately. The message is clear. This ends between the two of them. Travis throws a desperate punch that Marcus catches in mid-flight. Their eyes meet at close range. For the first time, Travis sees past the calm mask to what lies beneath. Years of training, of conditioning, of learning to break the human body in ways that can't be undone. He sees his own death in those eyes, served cold and quick if he pushes any further. Marcus releases his fist. Travis stumbles back, all pretense of dominance shattered. His legs give out and he sits heavily on the ground, blood dripping onto the concrete. We're done, Marcus says. Not a suggestion, but a statement of fact. His voice carries to every witness. All of this, the hazing, the power games, the territory marking, it's finished. Next person who tests me won't get up. He turns to Baru, leave, then pauses. One more thing. I'm not here to take over. I'm here to play football. Let me do that in peace, and we'll all graduate healthy. The crowd parts again, wider this time, As he walks away, in the distance, a campus security car rolls past. Its lights off. Coach Rodriguez sits behind the wheel, watching. He nods once at Marcus, then drives on. Some lessons are best taught outside official channels. Travis remains seated in the yard, his worldview completely shattered. Tomorrow, his kingdom will crumble. Tonight, he simply tries to understand how thoroughly he misjudged his target. The old stadium stands silent witness, adding one more secret to its long history. Morning practice has a different energy. Travis's absence creates a vacuum that no one tries to fill. Players focus on their drills with newfound intensity. The usual dominance games replaced by genuine effort. Marcus runs his routes at full speed now, his natural grace no longer hidden. The defense still gives him space, but from professional respect rather than fear. In the locker room, his corner remains untouched. No missing equipment, no pranks, no challenges. Jake passes by with a respectful nod that feels more genuine than forced. The old hierarchy has dissolved, replaced by something closer to a real team. Coach Rodriguez calls Marcus into his office after practice. A laptop on his desk shows security footage from the old stadium. The screen paused on last night's gathering. He closes it without comment. Travis withdrew from the team this morning, Rodriguez says, studying Marcus's face. Cited personal reasons. Marcus says nothing. His father called. Big donor. Serves on the board. Wanted to know if I was aware of any incidents. Rodriguez leans back. I told him Travis was a grown man who makes his own choices, and that some lessons are worth the price of learning them. A hint of approval crosses Marcus's normally stoic features. Got a call from California too. Rodriguez continues. Old friend in law enforcement. Says there was a specialized training program out there. Top secret stuff. Lot of redacted files. Program got shut down when things went wrong. Some of the subjects disappeared. He pauses. They were just kids when it started. Teenagers with certain aptitudes. Marcus meets his gaze steadily. That program doesn't exist anymore. No, it doesn't. Rodriguez nods. Just like last night never happened. Just like you're nothing more than a talented receiver who worked his way into the starting lineup. He stands, extending his hand. Welcome to the team. For real this time. Marcus shakes it, the ghost of a smile touching his lips. As he leaves the office, the quarterback who replaced Travis falls in step beside him. Film study at 7? The quarterback asks. Need to work on our timing if we're going to make this offense click. 7 works. Marcus replies. Just another player now, focused on the game. The war inside him settles into a quiet vigilance. He'll keep his edge. He has to. But the mask of normalcy feels less like a mask now, more like a choice. In the weight room, his usual bench sits empty, waiting. But today, other players join him, spotting his sets, asking about his routine. The fear is gone, replaced by genuine curiosity. Marcus finds himself answering, sharing small pieces of his knowledge. Not everything, never everything, but enough to begin building something real from the ashes of what he destroyed. In the years that follow, the story becomes legend at Southeast State. Details blur and shift with each retelling. The night Travis Moore's crew tried to break the quiet kid from California. Some say he was special forces. Others claim underground fighter. The truth remains known only to those who witnessed it, and they never quite tell it the same way twice. Marcus finishes his degree in 3 years, setting receiving records that stand for a decade. His game film shows only smooth routes and sure hands. Nothing that would draw unwanted attention. The other parts of him, the shadows and sharp edges, stay carefully contained. But sometimes, late at night in the empty practice facility, security cameras catch him moving through forms that no receiver ever learned, keeping his skills sharp against the day he might need them again. Travis transfers to a smaller school down south. Years later, he's seen at homecoming games, watching from the stands. His eyes always find Marcus on the sideline, remembering the night everything changed. He coaches high school ball now, they say. Runs a clean program. Never allows hazing. Some people you can safely underestimate. Others carry worlds of capability behind quiet eyes, waiting for the moment when patience ends and training begins. The smart ones learn to tell the difference before the lesson gets expensive. How well do you know the quiet ones in your life? The ones who step aside, who take the hits, who never seem to push back. Maybe they're passive. Maybe they're weak. Or maybe they're like Marcus, measuring your character, counting your mistakes, giving you every chance to walk a better path. Choose wisely.